Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
It's been so long since last Sunday. You know, at one point this week, I actually said out loud, I can't wait for Sunday. It's awesome. So it's so good to see you. We have a few announcements to start our morning. First of all, there's a webinar coming up. It's useful content, incredible, inspiring content. No registration necessary, and an email will be going out about this. How to become an empathic listener and speaker. Okay. Next, the LEDA calendars. Our calendars to decorate our offices and useful for our homes. Mrs. Takahashi will be set up outside selling them today. I believe they're $10. Next, Friendsgiving. Of course, Thanksgiving is just around the corner. We're going to be gathering with our family and friends, and there's a young adult version of this coming up. If you have any questions or you need information, please see Pastor Mika. Next, High Noon is holding a workshop, Owner of Your Sexuality, for young adults, and watch for an email with all the information will be sent out soon. And finally, follow us on social media. Everybody can join our new Facebook page, and we look forward to seeing you there. You can keep up on all the latest information. For a final announcement now, I'd like to invite up Kester.
Thanks, Aunt Susan. How you guys doing? Good. All right. How's everybody else doing? Okay, cool. So, Charles, will you do the slides for me? So, I've been speaking with a few different people about possibly redoing our stage and our design. Obviously a stage redesign, we don't own this property, so there's a lot of conversations that need to happen with the Belvedere property team, and there's a lot of thought and careful consideration that goes into it. But what if our stage looked something like that? Right? Who would like something, similar or something new? So this is the South Florida Family Church down in Miami. Previous Pastor Joe Young, he just retired a few months ago. I've been speaking with him about how they did it and their design process and things like that. So we're working on that. And if you want to have a voice in what we do, you need to send me an email, right? So you need to take a little bit of action. And then whoever emails me, we'll send out an email. So everyone have my email, kester.wilken@gmail.com. It'll go out an email. Then whoever emails me, we'll have periodic, Zoom meetings with everyone, and you guys can be part of the design process. Sound good? All right. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Sunday service. Let's stand and let's sing these beautiful songs. First one we're going to sing is Love Lifted Me. Are you ready? Did you bring your voices? Here we go.
I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, very deeply stained within, sinking to rise no more. But the master of the sea heard my despairing cry. From the waters lifted me, now safe am I.
love lifted me when nothing else could help. Love lifted me. All my heart
to Him I give, ever to Him I cling. In His blessed presence live, ever His praises sing. Love so mighty and so true, there is my soul's best song. Faithful love in service to Him
Everybody sing
belongs.
out.
Love lifted me, love lifted me,
Love lifted me.
when nothing else could help. Love lifted me, love lifted me, love lifted me, when nothing else could help. Love lifted me. Souls in danger, look above. Jesus completely saved.
He will lift you.
He will lift you by His love out of the angry way.
He's the master.
He's the master of the sea.
Yes, He is.
Those His will obey.
He's the Savior.
He, your Savior, wants to be saved.
Everybody sing out. Love lifted me.
Love
Love
lifted me.
even me. Love lifted me when nothing else could help. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. Love lifted me when nothing else could help. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. Amen. Move on to the next song. I'll never leave you anymore. I'll never leave you. God said He will never leave us, and His promises are true. I'll never leave you anymore, for I have found in your bright eyes a river of love, a heart of gold, a peaceful mind, a hand to hold. What will I do? And what will I do with this precious gift? Shall I embrace it to myself? Oh no, I can't. I will lose it sure. It must be given if it's to endure. And how will I use this treasure store? How will I share this worthless joy? I'll greet all men with a loving heart. I'll speak the truth with a clear voice. And together we'll build. And together we'll build. And together we'll build a world that's new. A world that's new. That's fit for kings. That's fit for kings. And fit for queens. Fit for queens. We'll raise them up to rule the land and place dominion in your hand. We'll never leave you. We'll never leave you anymore. We have found, for I have found in your bright eyes a river of love, a heart of gold, a peaceful mind, Amen. Thank you so much.
Hey, Pastor Justin.
All right. Good morning, brothers and sisters. So, we're gonna sing a song. It's called "Reckless Love," and I'm every week there's these incredible miracles, and one of them is our band is continuously to grow and expand. We have the wonderful Oakley Kearney today, and also Juntoku Shimizu on the piano, on the keyboard. We're so excited to offer this song for you. Oh yeah, we also have Johanna on the cello.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Thank you.
Brothers and sisters, please join me in prayer. We are home, Heavenly Parents. We're here as a family, as a community. Whether it's our first time here, whether it's our thousandth time here, we come and we gather to open our hearts and really invite you into our lives. Not just our lives on Sunday, but each and every day through the week, morning, noon, and night. Because your God, your love, it fills us and it guides us and it strengthens us and it energizes us and it gives purpose and meaning to our words and deeds. Heavenly Parent, as we've gathered here today and gathered to hear our pastor speak, I pray that really your word can come through him and we can be strengthened and we can be raised up for the week ahead. We thank you, we love you, and we offer this time to you. I pray these things in the name of the Boashri family, a Blessed Central family, Jew. So brothers and sisters, please join me in welcoming our pastor, Justin Okamoto.
Whew. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Are you feeling full? Do you have some space for more? I hope so. So, it's so good to see you here once again. I am just so grateful to be here as we continue on this relationship series. So before I get into the main content, I wanted to just share a quick testimony about how I experienced God's work in my life, God's love in my life. I think God is constantly finding ways to show his love to all of us. And so I wanted to share just a quick story. Some of you maybe were there during the vision workshop where I had a chance to share a little bit about my vision and my wish list. So one of the things, I don't know if you remember this, but one of the things on my list was I wanted to have a massage every week. I don't know if you remember that. But actually, when I proclaimed that in front of everybody, God kind of directed my eyes towards a specific person in the audience. That was Kimio Matthews right there. I don't know if she noticed that I was kind of looking at her when I said that, but I felt like, oh, that would be amazing because she's a professional massage therapist, in case you didn't know that. So anyway, about a couple weeks after that, I thought I was feeling it in my body, and I was like, you know what? I really could use a massage, like honestly. So I checked out her website, and I was looking at it and kind of thinking, okay, how could I make this happen? But then I kind of forgot about it. I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I can make it happen right away, and just kind of let it go. So literally like a couple days after that, after I'm looking at her website, guess what happens? She emails me. And she says, in this email, she's like, Justin, I'd really love to get some coaching for my business. I know you're doing a coaching program. You also do personal coaching. Would that be something we might be able to do? And when I got that email, I was like, okay, God, like, I get it. I see what's happening. So I'm like smiling and I'm responding to it. And I say, actually, I've been thinking about getting a massage from you. So what if we exchanged our services? I give you some coaching, you give me a massage. Wouldn't that be great? And she emails me like 5 minutes later, and she's like, I love it. That's a great idea. Let's do it. So this is, that was Thursday. I got my first massage from Kimiya-san, and it was amazing. I felt so rejuvenated and loved. And she also gave me some really great tips about how to keep my body strong. She also said I was going to feel sore for a few days, and she did not lie. I'm still feeling it right now, but definitely the overwhelming feeling is the love that I felt through that, and I'm just so grateful to that. So God is amazing. You know, God really wants all of our dreams to come true. He really wants to give us whatever we desire in our heart. So just a testimony for that. God is good. Amen. Yeah. So just wanted a quick review. There were 3 main points to the last sermon. I don't know if you remember what they were. The 3 main points you need to know to break through the cycle of relationship. Does anybody remember what the first one is?
What do I want?
Oh, he got it. Know what you want. That was the first one. The second one is? Are you looking over his shoulder? Second was to know where you're at right now. And the third one was to take some kind of action. Okay, take some kind of action. Okay, so know what you really want, be honest about where you really are in the relationship, and take action to move towards what you really want. And so today we're going to go a little bit deeper into what do all of us really want in a relationship? And also being honest about where we're at in our life and in our relationships. And I really believe that what I think all of us want, honestly, is we all want true love, right? We want the real deal. We want the real stuff in our relationships. So anyway, let me just make sure that that's true. Would you say that's true? Would you like some true love in your life, in your relationships? Yeah. So I think, first of all, it's really important to define that. What does that actually mean to have true love in your relationships, to practice true love? So sometimes it's easier to know what something is by first understanding what it's not. Okay? So when we talk about love, just love in general, not all love is the same, actually. Not all love is the same. I know we use that word love in many different circumstances. We say, I love cake. I love Uncle Bob, right? Those 2 very different contexts of using the same word, right?
Hot dog.
I love hot dogs. Yeah, right. So the reality is there is something called false love or imitation love. Imitation love. And at the same time, there's something called true love. Someone said Splenda. Okay. Or real love, authentic love, whatever you want to call it. But they sometimes they look similar externally. They look similar on the outside. But when you really dig into it, you can see there's clear differences between false love and true love. So one of the key differences is that false love, when you experience false love, it leads to an experience of death. That's kind of a heavy word, but it's like a death of your emotional life, of your mental life, of your spiritual life. It sucks the life out of you. While true love gives you life, and it rejuvenates you. And even though you're giving it out, you still feel full all the time. So let's take a look, first of all, at what false love is. So these are some of the attributes of false love. One is that it's a changing love. The way that it looks one day might look very different the next day. It's also temporary. So false love does not last. It may last for a day, a week, a year, a decade, but eventually it's going to disappear. And why does it change? Why does it disappear? It's because of the third point, is because false love is conditional. Basically, false love says, as long as you meet these conditions, I will love you. I will give to you. It kind of reminded me of my time in community college. I studied computer science, and there's things in computer science called conditionals, if and else statements. And it's really like this. It's like, if something happens. If this person does what I say or believes what I believe, then I will praise them, I will accept them, I'll acknowledge them. Else, I will ignore, judge, and criticize. It's pretty simple. That's what it looks like. Another way of talking about false love is to call it satanic love. And I don't want to get overly theological about that. But why do I say satanic love? It's because it resembles Satan's character. If you look at what Satan sounds like and looks like in the Bible, that's what it looks like. So we read from Matthew. It says, again, the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. So this is the time when Jesus is being tempted by Satan, by the devil, right? He goes out in the wilderness and he's tempted. And the devil says, and he said to him, all these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me. So again, it's, I will give you all these things as long as you fall down and worship me. It is conditional on worshiping, on giving your basically your freedom to Satan. And in exchange, if you let me dominate you, I will give you the praise, I will give you the money, the power, the glory. So do we see this anywhere else in our society? Does that maybe sound familiar? If we just take it out of that context and put it into just our life, do we see that where there's this condition that if you fulfill this condition, then I will give you praise, I will give you power, I will give you money, status, whatever. I think one place that we see it often is in our politics, right? Say, I will give you food, shelter, clothing, I will give you fame, I will give you fortune, if you will just vote for our party, right? You vote for the party, you toe the party line, and I'll give you what you want. And this is both sides of the aisle are guilty of this. There's also in friendships, I will give you love, I will give you praise, I will acknowledge you as long as you agree with me, as long as you agree with my ideology or my belief. I remember one time I had the audacity to say on social media that I liked what a politician said who was on like another party than what I might traditionally associate myself with. And I got so much negativity about that. It was like, are you a closeted blah, 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 blah? You're having give and take with this evil person. Oh my God. All this kind of judgment hit me just because I liked something that somebody else said. I agreed with a very moderate position of a politician who, by the way, is actually no longer even part of that political party. So we see this all over the place. And another way to describe false love is manipulation and control. Manipulation and control. Because that's really what it is. It is a weapon that we use to control others, to manipulate others, to get people to do what we say, to think what we think, to believe what I believe. And if you do all that, then I will give you the kingdom. What is the kingdom? The kingdom is our love. I will give you my love. I will give you my praise, my acceptance. Even we as parents, we have to admit that sometimes we do this with our own children, right? We say, you go the path that I'm going. You believe what I believe. You do what I do, or what I say you should do. Not necessarily what I do, but do what I say you should do. And as long as you do that, I will love you. I will accept you. You'll be in my good graces. And the moment the kid steps off that path, often what happens is coercion, criticism, and neglect. We withdraw. We say, okay, I'm going to take that away. You don't deserve that. And, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be guiding our children on a good path. We do need to do that. But the best way to do that is by showing an example. Show an example of your own love, your own service to God, your own dedication to God's love. And also, sometimes it's not very easy to recognize it. I think also sometimes we've all probably experienced the feeling of being manipulated and controlled. Have you ever experienced that in your life? Just get a show of hands, see if that's I'm not the only one. Okay, awesome. Okay, so There have been many times, even as in my history of being a pastor, where I felt manipulated by people. I felt like people were trying to control me. They would say things to me like, "Oh, pastor, you're so great. Oh, you're doing such a good job. I love you so much. You're the real deal, pastor." All those other pastors, yeah, they weren't that great, but you're a real pastor. And then what happens, right? And then they try to get me to do something. They try to get me, attached to their project or their idea. And I want to say there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with asking me to support you. I want to support you. I want to support your dream. But when you make a request and the only acceptable answer is yes, and no is not an acceptable answer to you, that is not a request, okay? That is a demand. That is you trying to control somebody. And that's often what happens, is either I'll say no and they'll get angry, upset, or I'll kind of be like, okay, I'll do it, but give me some time. And then it doesn't go the way that they want it to go, or I'm not fulfilling it the way that they wanted me to fulfill it. And then they're gone. And they're like, okay, I thought you were this, you're not, I'm going to leave. And honestly, it's quite painful every time that does happen. But I want to say that it's often easy to recognize the false love in other people, and sometimes a lot harder to look at the false love inside of ourselves, the false love that we give, that we practice. I told a story last time about a struggle that I was going through with my wife. By the way, I do want to just say that everything that I share about my wife, I do get her permission first. In case you were, so many people were asking that. Did you talk to your wife first? I did talk to her. Okay. But
Sound advice.
yes, it is sound advice. But ultimately, one point that did make a difference for me is I looked at myself and I realized how false my love was towards my wife. And my love was very conditional towards her. And I'm not going to say it's always that way. I do strive to practice true love, but it often is conditional. It's like she has to be a certain way. She has to do a certain thing. She has to say a certain thing in order for me to accept and love her. And really, that is no way to be in a relationship, right? That's no way to be in a relationship. But it is important to remember that the point is not to dwell on that, to dwell on our shortcomings or our lackings, but it is to just see the truth, recognize it, say, okay, my love is this way. It's not perfect, but how do I want to get to where I want to go? How can I move forward from there? So let's talk about true love. How can we know when a love is true? Basically, it's the opposite of false love, right? True love is unchanging, it's eternal, it's unconditional. With true love, it doesn't matter what another person does or says or believes. True love says this person is still worthy of my love, still worthy of my acceptance now and forever. Now and forever. And this is a little harder to imagine, actually, because it's so rare in our world, in our society. But personally, I feel really blessed to be in this community where I could understand the life of Father and Mother Moon, because I do believe that to the best of their ability, they lived a life practicing true love. And I want to just share one instance that really moved me. This is from the Mother Peace. This is Mother Moon's memoir. And this is Father and Mother Moon getting ready. Actually, this is them already meeting with Kim Il-sung, but this passage is from before that. And someone is advising her not to go, saying it's too dangerous, it's a bad idea. And she says this: though spoken out of concern for our well-being, such words tempted us to dwell on our private feelings and fears. Yet we knew that we had to truly forgive North Korean leader Kim Il-sung and embrace him with unconditional love, no matter what the risk. To change an enemy into a friend is truly impossible without the heart of a sincere parent. So for those of you who don't know Kim Il-sung and Father and Mother Moon, there's a history there. There's a history there. Father Moon was imprisoned, tortured in North Korea during the time of the Korean War by the communist regime, which was led by Kim Il-sung. And Mother Moon had to escape North Korea as a refugee because of the Korean War. So despite that, despite their personal history with this man, despite knowing that this man was responsible for the deaths of millions of people, they met him and they embraced him. There's another picture, I didn't put it here, but there's a picture of Father Moon giving Kim Il-sung a big hug. Because they knew that only true love, true unconditional love, had the power to transform another person's heart. This is what the song that we just sang is calling this reckless love, right? Reckless love. Why is it reckless? It defies logic. It doesn't make any sense. It's not rational. Right? Because rationality is based on what? What was that? Conditions. Yeah, it's based on conditions. Rationality, logic is based on conditions. We're talking about pure, reckless love. It makes no sense, but it just loves. There's a passage in Luke. It says, suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes home. Then he calls his friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my lost sheep." So again, it doesn't make any sense to leave the 99 sheep and go after the one. Like if I was a businessman, like running a sheep business, and like one of my sheep escaped, businessly thinking, I would be like, okay, let it go. Let me make sure I got the 99 covered, because that's where the profit's going to be. It doesn't make any sense. But God, this is God's heart. He cannot help but go after the lost sheep. And who is that lost sheep? Who is that lost sheep? Is that the person outside? No, that's you, that's me. We are those lost sheep. What this passage is saying is that God is actively searching for ways to reach you. God is desperately trying to find the key to unlock your heart so that you can receive God's love. God is not a passive God just waiting around for you to come back. God is going out there into your life, putting people in your life, putting experiences in your life. Those are the experiences of God searching for you to bring you back. So I wanted to share a bit about my story. But before I do, I have to apologize. Because I said last time that I was going to continue the story of how we overcame our big struggle together. But I got to tell you, when I was praying about this sermon, God told me, you got to share something else. So I will continue this story, but not today. This is not a ploy to get you to come back next week. I promise you, I couldn't go against what God was telling me. I hope you can still love me unconditionally despite that. Thank you. So rather than that, I wanted to share about my journey of discovering God's unconditional, reckless love and how God worked so desperately to find this lost sheep. So I grew up in this community, and I think I had a pretty typical childhood in this community. Many of us maybe had a experience similar to this, right? Waking up early, struggling through a faith that I did not quite understand in my young age. On a good day, it might look something like this. Waking up early in the morning, we called this pledge service. And, I had a pretty, I'd say, innocent childhood, and I had a pretty innocent faith. I didn't quite understand what they were talking about at Sunday school, but I loved my parents, and I wanted to do what they said, and I followed where they went. So I faithfully, attended church basically my whole life. As I got older, and I became a teenager, what often happens when you become a teenager? Well, friends and fitting in became the most important thing to me in my life, right? All I wanted to do was to fit in. I wanted to stand out, hence the blue hair and interesting fashion choice. I wanted people to look at me, to notice me, right? And honestly, chasing that led me to some interesting places in life. So at one point in my life, I was really at this point of searching, I would say. But that searching led me to do all kinds of crazy things. You might call crazy. I remember one time I was at a movie theater with my friends, and we were lining up to get into the theater, and I think we were going to see like the movie Borat or something. I don't recommend it. But anyway, we were on the line to see this movie. All of a sudden, I get a text from my dad, and the text says, "Come home now." And I read that text, and I'm like, I'm about to see a movie. Why would I come home now? So I said, I'm about to see a movie. I'll come home after the movie. And then I get another text right away, and it says, "Come home now. Your sister is in trouble." So my parents knew that no matter what happens, I always love my sister. She's someone that's very important to me. So I went home, and I get to my house, and I open the door, and I start walking up the steps. And as I walk up to the steps and I get to the living room, I see something on the coffee table. And it was a bottle of vodka and a pipe. And it was mine. And I looked at that and I thought, whoo, my life is over. And my whole family was there in a little circle. Kind of like an intervention. I don't know if you ever heard of an intervention, but it was kind of like that. They were all sitting down on the couch, and they said, "Okay, Justin, sit down." I sat down, and I looked over on the couch. My sister was crying her eyes out. I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" So to make a long story short, basically my family goes around and they express how they're feeling right now, what's going on. They say, "We caught your sister with some substance," and she told us that you gave it to her. I said, "Oh my gosh." And then, they kind of one by one told me basically how upset they were, right? And understandably, I was lying to them for a very long time. I remember my oldest brother saying, "Justin, if you're going to live this way, get out of the family." And then my mom saying, wait, no. Don't listen to that. And eventually it gets to this point where my dad says to me, "All right, Justin, you have two choices to make. You can either go to Korea, this place called Cheonpyeong. It's kind of like a holy site, or you can go to jail." And again, I gave an illegal substance to a minor, so he really could put me in jail if he wanted to. So I was looking at my options. All right, Korea, jail. All right, I'll go to Korea. So anyway, they said, "Okay, you're going to Korea. We're going to buy your ticket, and you're leaving in 3 days." I said, "Oh my God." So I said, "Okay." The next day comes, and I immediately start to think about my escape plan. So eventually there's this time where my dad's at work, my mom is going grocery shopping. So my parents are not in the house. There's still some siblings there. But anyway, I barge into my parents' room and I find my laptop that they were hidden from me. So I get the laptop out and I message my friend, say, my parents are crazy. Come pick me up. Take me to your house. I said, can you come now? He said, okay. So I start packing my bags and, for Korea, and get all my bags ready. And I put it on the side of the road. I go back in the house, wait for my friend to come. And then I'm looking out the window and I see my friend's car. And at the same time, I see my mom's car. She pulls in and she comes up the stairs and she says to me, Justin, why is your friend's car on the side of the road putting your luggage in his trunk? And I look at her straight in the eyes and I say, I don't know. And then I run for it. And I run downstairs and my friend is speeding off already. He realizes he's caught. And I get on my bike and I start bicycling as fast as I can to get to my friend's house. And eventually get to a point where I'm looking behind me and there's nobody there. I'm like, okay, I'm free. And then all of a sudden, I start hearing this noise. It's like, I'm like, I look behind me and there's my mom. She's going like 50 miles on a local street. And the side of on the passenger side is my brother hanging out the window like this. Ready to grab me off my bike. So eventually I'm like, okay, I lost. I fall off my bike. My brother grabs me, pulls me in the car and takes me back home. Mission failed. But I get home and my mom is like freaking out by now. And she's distraught and she's crying. And she says, okay, Justin, like, if you really don't want to go to Korea, you don't have to go right now. But we already bought a ticket. So you've got 1 year to use this. So I said, okay, fair enough. So about a year passes and a lot of things happen. I had a girlfriend during that year. I did a lot of other crazy things. I actually stopped all the substances. But about 10 months after that, my relationship broke and I was heartbroken and I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. So I thought, well, I've got nothing else going on for me. Why don't I just take this ticket and go to Korea? And so that's what I did. I went to this place called Champyeong. And when I got there, I was there for 21 days. And when I first got there, I felt really lonely. I looked around at all the people and, I was judging them all. And I said, oh, they're all these goody goodies. They probably didn't do anything ever bad in their life. And I'll never get along with them. But eventually, I felt just the lowest of the low. I felt so alone. And I thought, all right, I've got to do something about this. And so I decided I'm going to pray. So I go up and I run up this big hill and I go to this place where people often go to pray. And actually, there was nobody around at the time. It was just me and this beautiful nature. And I start talking to God and I just pour my heart out for the first time in my life, an honest prayer with God. And I say to God, I'm just feeling so alone right now. Help me. And when I was praying with God, what I felt was God saying to me, oh, you're alone. Like, I feel alone too. I know what that feels like. And I said to God, okay, God, I don't care if it's an angel or a human being, just send me someone I can talk to. I need a friend. So I go down, I think it was the next day, I'm I'm sitting on the steps, and just like any other ordinary day in Korea, I was watching people play sports, having a good time, and I was sitting there by myself. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I feeling this loneliness? Why can't I connect with people? And then suddenly somebody comes by and he taps me on my shoulder and he says, "Oh, hi, you're Justin, right?" And I say, yeah. "Oh, nice to meet you." And he says, "How's your workshop going?" And I say, "Oh yeah, it's going fine." I'm totally lying. But he says, "Okay, that's good. I'm glad. If you ever need anything, I'm here. And nice to meet you." And then he goes off. So that simple conversation triggered something in me. I thought, this is why I'm so lonely. It's because I'm not doing what this guy's doing. I'm not going out there to find the other lonely people and make some friends. So at that moment, I looked to my right and I saw a girl sitting by herself, all alone. And I thought, oh, there's a person here. Maybe I should talk to her. So I start talking to her and I say, "Oh, where are you from?" And she says, "Oh, I'm from this tiny country called Luxembourg. I'm sure you never heard of it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's really interesting." Eventually I tell her, my stomach hurts. And eventually she says, I got to go. So she goes into the store right behind us and she comes back and she hands me something. It was a yogurt. And I took it. And she said, "This is good for your stomach. You should eat it. Might make you feel better." And I look at her. I look at the yogurt. I look back at her. I say, and I think to myself, oh, I want to marry this person. So I'm hardcore crushing out. But God works in incredible ways. I did not marry that girl, by the way. But it was through her that I met these amazing friends. I met all of these people. And, eventually it got to a point where I had a chance to share with them about my past and my history. And honestly, it was so scary for me to do that. I thought if I told them who I was, what I've done, they probably won't accept me. But somehow God told me that you have to do this. If you don't do this, you will never know if anybody will love you unconditionally. And so I built up the courage and I told them about my past. And they looked at me and they said, "Justin, we're all here because we're trying to make our lives better. We've all made mistakes. Forgive yourself. It's okay." And I just felt so incredibly loved in that moment. And I thought, this is love. This is what I was looking for in my life. And just to make a long story short, I had all these different experiences of experiencing this love. And then at one point, I decided I wanted to call my parents. So I found a payphone and called up my parents. And by this time, I'd already kind of experienced God. And I called them up and I called my mom. I said, "Mama, I am a totally different person now. I want to get matched and blessed. Actually, I even found a girl here that I might want to get blessed to." And my mom was like, "Oh, really? That's cool." She's like, "Give me her information. I'll contact her parents." And, my mom was just so happy to have me back. There wasn't an ounce of resentment. There was no, "But what about all those things that you did to me? What about all the pain that you caused me?" There was none of that. It was just pure rejoicing and excitement that her son was back. And, my father, I wasn't talking to him, but I'm sure he felt it too. So this has led me to my life now. It's the love of God that has brought me to live this incredible life that I get to live. You know, doing things that I never thought in a million years. I never, ever thought I would be a pastor of a community. I never thought I would travel the world and give talks to youth from all these different countries and all this journey that God has brought me. I never thought I'd marry this wonderful, beautiful, amazing person. You know, I never thought that I would create this incredible person, this angel, this cute, magnificent being. But God brought me here. God searched for me. And he found me and he brought me back to build a family. So this is the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. I couldn't earn it. I didn't deserve it. I lied. I cheated. I sinned. I made all kinds of mistakes. Talk about foe. I was my parents' foe. I was trying to destroy their dream, everything that they wanted. I hated them. I did not deserve that forgiveness, that love that they showed me. But still, they gave it. Still, God gave it. This is God's love. So, I just wanted to say that no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter what you believe, God loves you. And you may not feel it in your life, but God is searching for you. And maybe just take a moment to reflect on that, to look at your life and look at the signs that God has actually been searching for you your whole life. That God has put people in your life so that he can find you and bring you back to his love. Been searching for the key to your heart, to open up your heart so that you can see God's love. I just want to say, I can't say it enough. God loves you so much. Whatever you've done in your past, please forgive yourself because God already forgave you. And please let that love in. And I want to just say that I know my love's not perfect. I know that I'm not perfect, but I truly want to strive every single day to get better and to learn how to love you all better, to learn how to love my wife better. And I think we can all do that together. Brothers and sisters, thank you so much. If you want to take this on, I really want to encourage you to reflect daily on the ways God is loving you in your life. I thank you so much. I love you so much, and I'll see you next week. Filling your love tank. God bless you all.
Wow, so much content there. So much to think about in these words and how they apply in our own lives. So let's take some reflection time now. We're going to take 4 minutes and we can prepare for a pair share. We'll take in this message a little bit more deeply. You might want to think about how in your life you have felt unconditionally loved and accepted. Okay, brothers and sisters, before we go on, I just want to take a moment here to really thank Justin for a really wonderful message this morning. So, thank you. Yeah, I'm so grateful for your guts to get up and share that kind of a message, and I pray that it really empowers all of us in that way. So it's time for a pair share. So now with your heart full of your own reflection and how God's been working in your own life, find somebody to share with, maybe one or two people, and we'll take 4 minutes for a pair share. Okay.
I mean, like in my household, you know, maybe if we have a big household, different. I think because my wife was not educated, so maybe when she gets off, no, what? Do we have no?
Okay, it's time to switch. If you haven't already, let the other person talk.
In the church as well. I think there was not and so that means I really got to get some people have those things really too. I didn't say on show I did. Strength and love. But I get the other way around, I think because I didn't give love much. Just came back. I was like, look, what's wrong with you?
And it's funny because I shared something. Okay, thank you so much. I know we could talk probably for the rest of the day, but let's hear a couple of testimonies. So, Pastor Mika is going to be kind enough to be sharing a mic, but I just want to ask if we have a person who would like to maybe share some of their reflection. Maybe, yeah, and we got to make it short. So there's time to hear from a few, so maybe a minute or less. Be brave. Raise your hand. Yeah, Bob? Okay. A minute or less.
You got it. I'll do maybe 30 seconds. I really got to love my own wife unconditionally, and I don't. I absolutely don't. And I was telling my brothers here that, my understanding of God is really skin deep. That's the truth about who I am. And my brother James, as I was talking to him this morning, he says he has no worries because he really has a relationship with God. And that's what I absolutely need. I got to absolutely trust God. I got to be saying his name every day. And that's the truth. Yeah. Got to be real.
Thank you. How about a sister? Yes. Okay. Yes. There you go. You got a handful, but maybe you can still stand up. An armful.
You're okay.
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm used to it. Yeah. I'm used to it. After 11 months of training, I've gotten the hang of it sometimes. So other than him, because that'll be too easy of a story. The one I can recall was, as Justin mentioned, our prime youth as teenagers were rebels, right? We want to be. And I'm the only girl, so I had like twice as much pressure to rebel against my parents, right? So I'm the oldest and the only girl. So there was so many incidents where I angered my parents, and my mom, a lot of the Japanese cultural traditions that they hate drama, they want to, stay quiet on the side and observe and then speak, right? But my mom was like, no, that's my mom. And then my mom's like, Reina, I hate drama. I hate confronting you. I have to talk to you about something. I was like, oh no, this is bad. The fact that she's doing this and we're alone. And I was like, what do you want from me, huh? What do you want to talk about? And she's like, I just don't like why you're acting like this. Why are you, not listening to us? Why are you saying all this stuff about your father and I? Why are you doing this to your brothers? And we were having an argument. I don't remember a lot of our conversation. We're having an argument. And then at one point it got so bad. We're screaming, we're crying. And I don't know why I said this. I said to her, do you love me as a child but hate me as a teenager? And she stops what she's doing. She laughs and she's like, silly, what are you talking about? I love you regardless. So, when she said silly, I love you regardless, and I broke down. I was like, I love you too. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So, and I confess, I told her, like, oh, I'm just sick and tired of all these rules and all the stuff. She said, we're doing this because we love you, and you're the only girl. We just can't help it.
Thank you. Thank you, Reina. Okay, one more. We have time for one more. Okay. Young Mr. Clark in the back there. You got to turn around, everybody.
Sorry about that. I'll try and tell it accurately and shortly. So there's a DP education online thing every Saturday, and yesterday we're talking about the fall, and the presenter said, Satan tries so hard to stop us, 100% all the time. And at first I was like, oh my God, that's kind of scary. Wow, it's kind of. Then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh, okay, that's not so bad, because God's also trying 100% all the time. And then after hearing the song, I realized the difference between Satan's 100% and God's 100%. And Satan's very like scared. He's not going to do it unless it works. He's very cautious, calculated, right? But God is extremely reckless. He will always just hurl at you 100% all the time, no matter how much it hurts. And Satan is literally the opposite. He has like no integrity in his 100%. But God is like true to his heart. So yeah, that's what I learned from today.
Okay, we're going to squeeze in one more. Pastor James, you have something to share?
It's just a statement, and you could take it. God can take a nobody, turn them into somebody in front of everybody without getting permission from anybody.
Great, thank you. Great. Okay, everybody, let's stand up and sing our final song.
All right, brothers and sisters. So we're going to do song Reckless Love one more time. And as we sing, I really want to encourage you to just really be with the song, be with the lyrics, feel God's love into your heart. That means, putting your hand to your heart or closing your eyes, whatever it takes. Just be with God as we're doing this song.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah! There's no shadow you won't light up,
mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found. He's the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it. Still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. Thank you, brothers and sisters. God bless you. We love you. Have an amazing week. See you next Sunday. Let's give it up for the band.
Thank you, Justin.